Welcome back, guys. My name is Patrick, and this is the Oilers Rundown. Have to talk Oilers this morning. I was reading Daniel Nugent-Bowman's article over at The Athletic, Kurt Levin's article, 9 Things at the Cult of Hockey. Brought up some great points, and wanted to discuss those with you guys this morning. Let's start with Mikko Koskinen's amazing record so far. He is 9-1-2 in his last 13 starts, a .927 save percentage. I don't think the Oilers are looking for a number one goalie right now. Mikko Koskinen, with his play, is showing that he can at least carry the load for now. But Daniel Nugent-Bowman mentions in his article, is this something that Koskinen can keep going in the playoffs? If Koskinen were to get hurt, do the Oilers fall back on Mike Smith? That's where it kind of gets sketchy, right? Yes, they can call up Stuart Skinner again, go with Koskinen and Skinner as the tandem. That should get the Oilers by and into the playoffs because those guys are playing well enough. But is an unproven Mikko Koskinen and untested Stuart Skinner the tandem you want to go with going into the playoffs? It doesn't give me 100% confidence. I want to give Mikko Koskinen a ton of credit. He's been sensational lately. I'm happy keeping him past the trade deadline. Pretty much since the start of this season, I couldn't see how the Oilers could keep him past the trade deadline, but his play has definitely warranted that. I'm happy keeping Koskinen as one of the goalies in the tandem. But Stuart Skinner, yes, he's looked great. I don't know if he should be your solidified backup, though, going into the playoffs. Like I said, he's untested. It might be unfair pressure to put on him. Mike Smith has not shown me anything this year that gives me a ton of confidence. Yeah, he's had a good game here and there, but nothing consistent for the Oilers. He's battled injury, inconsistency. I don't think Mike Smith should be the backup for the Oilers past the trade deadline. Does that mean Ken Holland moves him at the deadline? I think he should certainly try. Does it happen? Probably not. But if Mike Smith is still on the Oilers roster past the trade deadline, that's a problem for me. He should be in Bakersfield or another team and another veteran goaltender. It doesn't have to be a superstar. Like I said, I'm happy going with Mikko Koskinen as the number one until he proves otherwise. But it should be a reliable veteran that the Oilers could go to. I don't see Mike Smith as that reliable veteran. I don't want to see that pressure put on Stuart Skinner if Mikko Koskinen were to falter. It could destroy his confidence if he's not quite ready for it yet. I prefer if we can keep Stuart Skinner in Bakersfield for the rest of the season. I know a lot of people want to see him. I've wanted to see him brought up earlier, but as we're getting into the stretch run here, trade deadline is 8 days away. I think the Oilers should bring in a more veteran goaltender for at least the rest of this season. Stuart Skinner will definitely be in the tandem for the Oilers next year. He's the Oilers' future. Love Skinner. I just think he might be putting unfair pressure on him. I'd prefer to see a veteran goaltender brought in to play with Mikko Koskinen the rest of the way. We'll see what happens. Ken Holland may think differently. Like I said, I don't think the Oilers should be going out spending a first-round pick, maybe not even necessarily a second-round pick, but they should bring in a veteran goaltender, I'd say for a third-round pick value and down, to come in and play with Mikko Koskinen. A goaltender is one of my priorities for the Oilers. I think they should also add a defenseman, either on the right or left side. The defense is looking a lot healthier for the Oilers right now, but someone they could add to the top four could be absolutely huge in the playoffs. You know that when it comes playoff time, depth on defense is absolutely critical. Guys go down, it's always next man up, and the next man up has to be someone reliable, hopefully with playoff experience, because the Oilers will definitely need any help they can get. I think with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Jesse Puljujarvi eventually coming back up front for the Oilers, Puljujarvi we could see as early as next week. I think the Oilers are okay up front. They do have the option of eventually bringing up Dylan Holloway as well, so that's another potential addition they can make without having to spend any assets. I wouldn't focus as much on the forwards. My focus going into the trade deadline will be bringing in a reliable veteran backup goaltender for Mikko Koskinen and someone they can possibly add to the top four on the left or the right side. I mean, realistically, are we going to see more than 2 trades from Ken Holland? Unlikely. We may even only see 1. If they only do 1, maybe defense you kind of focus on. You do have Mike Smith and Stuart Skinner in goal. I'm just, like I said, Mike Smith hasn't shown me anything that he's reliable this year. Stuart Skinner, yeah, maybe he can do the job. I just feel like it's unfair pressure to put on him if worst comes to worst. So we'll see what happens there. Defense probably first priority, but I would try to get a veteran goaltender to back up Mikko Koskinen. One last thing I wanted to touch on, Kurt Levins brings it up in his 9 Things article about the succession plan. He still thinks it's probably going to be Ken Holland for the rest of his contract as general manager. I've mentioned this in other videos earlier. I think Keith Gretzky should come into the mix more. Ken Holland has 2 more years left on his contract, If the Oilers make the playoffs this year, I think he's safe. If the Oilers don't make the playoffs this year, I think we could see a potential change at the GM position as soon as this summer. I think Keith Gretzky should be considered. He's done an incredible job with the Bakersfield Condors. He's got a good working relationship with Jay Woodcroft. These guys know the future of this team, and I think they can be the future of this team. If the Oilers want to keep Ken Holland going forward, make Ken Holland simply president of hockey operations, give the GM reins to Keith Gretzky. We'll see how things go the rest of the way here. The Oilers have found new life under Jay Woodcroft, so I think they will make the playoffs at this point. They're playing well enough to do so, but if things do crater, I think possibly everyone could lose their jobs. I hope not. I've loved Jay Woodcroft as head coach. I think he should be the head coach for the Oilers going forward. And something that would help Jay Woodcroft remain as head coach going forward would be a succession of Keith Gretzky to GM, Ken Holland to president of hockey ops. I think Ken Holland's time is clearly passing him by. It's time for him to take on less responsibility. Make him simply president of hockey ops. He can oversee everything. Let's see what Keith Gretzky can do starting this summer. If Keith Gretzky isn't the guy, let's find out over the next 2 years. You can bring in a whole new slew of people after that. But I don't think the Oilers should just quickly go, let's fire everybody, start from the ground up again. I think this organization needs some stability. Keith Gretzky and Jay Woodcroft can be that stability. I don't think Ken Holland is the Oilers' future. Start phasing him out. Give the future to the guys that have helped bring your prospects forward and are giving you a better team as of now. Well, guys, those are just some random thoughts from me on a Sunday. Just wanted to share those with you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys, and you can look forward to a new episode of The Fanatics with my good buddy Mike and I coming your way tomorrow. Take care, guys. See you soon.